Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure and honor to open this seminar at the Beijing Financial Street Forum with a keynote. And many thanks to People's Bank of China for the kind invitation for the speech. My name is Stefan Wolf. I'm the CEO of the Global Legal Entity Identifier Foundation, or GLIFE for short, a not-for-profit supranational foundation that was founded by the G20 and FSB in 2014. We are overseen by 70 regulators from all around the world, mostly from the financial sector. And our vision is that there should be one global identity behind every business. The LEI, an ISO standard, is a 20-digit alphanumeric code. It's open and global data, and it represents the who is who and who owns whom information on a global scale. I would like to highlight that we have a great cooperation with China. Mr. Fu Zhiyang from People's Bank of China is the vice chair of our Regulatory Oversight Committee, and Mr. Xavier Xu from CIPS is a member on our GLIFE board. Both are providing strong support for the LEI in China and Asia. NIFS is the LEI issuing organization in China. They're offering proactively LEI services to legal entities, like the creation of an LEI or the updates of LEI data. Also, China roadmap was published in 2020 regarding the use of LEIs by the People's Bank of China and other financial regulators. And since 2020, the LEI population for legal entities has increased significantly in China. We're very pleased to see that China is among the fastest growing LEI countries in the world. And today we cover already roughly 80,000 Chinese organizations in the LEI database. So altogether, we're very grateful for the support from our partners, and we hope to establish together with them some pilots soon to address interested organizations in the Greater Bay Area and other regions in China and Asia. GLIFE is putting a lot of effort into implementing our strategy for adoption in Asia. It is core interest of the regulatory community as well as the private sector to have a global view on the LEI, and especially in supply chain and trade, the global flows might need a global identifier like the LEI. And that's why we're engaging with local authorities and market participants in major Asian countries. We're opening up representation offices in India, Japan, Singapore, and later China, to support local authorities, but also local businesses in their application of the LEI in their products and services. Now, you may ask, why is the LEI needed? When we engage with market participants in different jurisdictions, and especially in Asia, we're often told that organizations don't need an LEI because there is a national identifier already in place. And it is absolutely fair to say that many of these national identifier systems are very strong and matured and cover the businesses in the various countries. So why do you need an LEI for then? Or what do you need an LEI for then? It's a similar situation to personal identity documents. Some of you might have an identity card, others have driving licenses, which is great in your local jurisdiction. But the moment you want to travel and you want to go cross-border, all of a sudden, your identity card is not good enough anymore. You need an additional passport. And for the driving license, many countries do not accept the domestic driving license, but will ask for an international driving license to be able to rent out cars. So you see there's a coexistence between national identifiers and global identifiers, depending on the purpose. We're positioning the LEI as the global passport for businesses, but the LEI has very strong ties into the national identification scheme. And I would like to show you an example for this. So the first item would be the name of the company or where it is registered, the number in this registration authority, as well as the legal form of the company, are all data elements that we have standardized on a global scale. As you can already see here, there is an English translated version of the name of the company. And the purpose of this is very simple. In many other countries, people would not be able to read the Chinese name. But the English name is what we consider the lingua franca for global trade and is widely accepted. And that's why we carry this information for easier access. Other data elements in the LEI record are the legal domicile or the headquarters address. But as you can see, the LEI data itself is use case agnostic. Even though it originates from the financial sector, it is not limited to the use in the financial sector. It can be used everywhere where global identification is needed. So what is our roadmap for the LEI? First of all, I already spoke about the geographic expansion and the support for local authorities and companies in Asia. We're doing similar things in the United States, in Europe, and in other parts of the world, Africa, for instance. And this is part of our strategy to make the LEI relevant for the digital world. What does it mean? Today, most flows of products, information, money, and so on and so forth are still heavily based on paper-based documentation. You need documents, you need to sign those documents, you need to put stamps on those documents, and then you pass it on from one body to the other. Now, there's a huge desire in the world to go digital with this. That means that you have what we call paperless trade as a possibility. But when you have paperless trade as a strategic goal, then immediately the question becomes relevant. How do you prove the authenticity of the origin of information as well as the information itself? How can you make sure that this information is correct and verifiable? And that is why we enhance the LEI system with a sister application, which is the verifiable LEI. It's not anything else but taking the LEI and tie it to the private key of the holder of the LEI to make sure whenever this LEI is used that people can prove the authenticity of the origin. With this VLEI, you can do multiple things. One of the applications would be, for instance, to sign digital documents or to sign files or even facts along a supply chain. And I would like to show you a very quick example where we have our own financial statement, our annual report. And it comes with a lot of text, for instance, a chairman statement or CEO statement, but it becomes really interesting and relevant when you scroll down to the statement of comprehensive income, the balance sheet, and so on. And there, when you see the information, you ask yourself, who provided this information and who audited this information? In order to facilitate that, we issued VLEIs to certain individuals. For instance, when you see here, digital signatures, we have our CFO under the booth who is signing off on the financial facts. But then we passed it on to our audit firm, EY, and the auditors from EY also testified that these numbers are correct. Now, with this report now, we have the first application where multiple contributors and multiple auditors can sign off on the facts embedded in a report. You do not need to sign the complete file. You can tie your signatures to the facts that you are responsible for. I think this is a very nice example that we can see now for using the LEI in digital content documents. And of course, if you put this to the next level of abstraction, you can think about, e-invoices, letter of credit, bill of lading, and other types of documents. Brochures, leaflets could be digitally signed like this and therefore are made authentic. Use case for this is predominantly at the moment in finance and in trade. The whole supply chain industry, along with the corresponding payments and trade finance applications, benefit largely from the LEI system because it makes it much easier for market participants to speed up the process of onboarding and checking and vetting of information when they arrive. So our role is to help the FSB and all other regulatory bodies who set standards and policies in financial world to promote the LEI in payments. CIPS is another part of this strategy, and CIPS is also carrying the LEI for payment messages to identify counterparties in payments. But payments is a building block also for the broader picture of supply chain. We're working together with the International Chamber of Commerce and multiple funds to make paperless trade, the vision, a success. Along the way, we see now for more and more organizations like financial institutions or logistic firms and others interest in incorporating the LEI into their products and services. And that is what we want to support with our presence in Asia. And this is why we're grateful to have the ability to demonstrate the LEI and the LEI to this important community. Clive looks forward to continuing our close engagement in China and the broader Asia region. Again, we would like to thank People Bank of China for inviting me to this open session today, but also to all of you, the participants in this seminar, for your interest. We are wishing this forum a great success and will remain available and open for dialogue in case of questions. Thank you very much. Goodbye.